Hi everybody, thanks for joining me for my third card class in the mail. Today we are going to be stamping with the Beautiful Moments stamp set. All of the cards that are in this kit is from that same stamp set. So all you have to do is get that one stamp set and you're ready to go to make these cards. So I am going to turn the camera down so you can see my work surface and my cards. Okay, so this is the Beautiful Moments stamp set that we'll be using. This is in the current mini catalog. The catalog expires at the end of June. We do not know it as of yet whether or not this stamp set will be carried over. So if you are interested in receiving this stamp set, make sure you put that on order as soon as possible, along with any other items that are in the mini catalog. We don't know right now which items will be carrying over. So make sure you place your order as soon as possible. Okay, so this is the first card that I will be showing you. This border right here was done with the ornate layered dies. These will be in the upcoming catalog, but you can pre-order them right now. They are part of the Ornate Garden Suite. So if you go online, you can see everything that's included in that suite. But this particular die is from the ornate layered dies. Let me show you real quick what's all included in those dies. You get all of these very detailed dies, as well as these. So this one here is the one that I used on the card. You can see how detailed those dies are. They're very intricate and they cut out really nicely on your die cutting machine. Okay, so again, those are the ornate layered dies. Okay, so in your card kit, you will have received your pre-folded card base, your layer that has the border punched out for you already, die cut out for you, and you will receive the two rectangles which will be layered on top like so. So let me show you real quickly how to put this together. So I've done a number of different techniques with this card kit, so hopefully you'll pick up a few new tricks along the way. So I am using the StazOn ink pad because I will be using the Stampin' Up pens to color these images in. So I'm just going to stamp that like so. And I am not going to color all of this in for you because you don't need to watch me color. But I do want to show you how I got this background on my card. And it's simply using one of Stampin' Up sponges. They come as a round sponge and I've cut them in 4 pieces. I use them over and over again. You simply wash them under the sink and squeeze out all the color, and you can use them whatever stamp pad that you want to use. So this is colored red. There's no red on there. I'm just picking up some of the balmy blue for the background sky. So you can use sponges in a lot of different ways. You can pounce them or you can wipe them and you get different textures. I would really suggest practicing the different textures that you can get so that you can achieve the result that you want to get. For this particular one, I used the pouncing method, and with the sponges, you can just use the tips of them, the sides of them, to get into like little nooks and crannies. And because you're using the pouncing method, you can kind of really blend that really nicely. Okay, so that's how I did that background. It kind of gives it a nice airy look to it. You can see there's no real defining marks to it. It's all just pounced and yeah, kind of just a different texture all the way around. And then, like I said, I just used the pens to color in the images. So this is soft seafoam, which matches the outside color. And because I used the StazOn ink, you can color right over that and it's not going to run. The black ink will not run on you if you use the regular water color markers, which is what these are. They're water-based. and you use the Stays On ink. Okay, so that is how I did that card. This card here, I used the the Ornate Floral 3D embossing folder. That is also part of the Ornate Gardens dies. Let me see if you can see that pretty flower background on there. That is the image that you will get. This image here is what you will get with the Ornate Floral 3D embossing folder. Again, that's part of the Ornate Garden Suite that you can purchase early. It will be in the next catalog as well. Okay, so for this one, you will receive your soft seafoam card base. You will receive a white paper to go on the inside, like so. And then you will receive your embossed piece that goes on the top. You will receive some polka dot ribbon. I don't know if you can see that, but that is to be wrapped around the embossed image. You'll receive a little die cut to stamp your saying on the front. And then you will receive your nested die cuts. These die cuts are this, let's see, where did that come from? That is from the Stitched So Sweetly dies. And those are all the dies that you get with that die set. That is part of the mini catalog as well, I believe. So you should get that on order soon if you are interested in getting that. Again, I used the Stays On ink to color this. I just realized that the pen that I was using before was not the soft seafoam, so I'm not going to use that. That was actually mint macaron. So it was a little bit darker than what I was expecting. So I will be coloring this in later. So this one I actually left the background just white. I did not color in with the sky. I just colored in the dress, and I put a little bit of color onto the flowers themselves, as well as on the inside flowers. And I just left this blank so that you could write any kind of note that you wanted to. So again, this would be just attached like so, and it would go on the card like so. I am going to wrap the ribbon around just so you can see how that works. This ribbon is really nice. It has a little bit of a stretch to it, which makes it super easy to tie. You can get a really nice tie with it, and for this purpose I just made a little knot on it. I didn't try to make a bow. So I just did over and under, hold that right where I want it to make a nice tight knot. And then I just slip that down like so. And then you can just play around with it a little bit. It does have a little bit of move to it, so you can get that exactly where you want it to go. And you can also adjust it from side to side. And then I would just snip these on an angle to make a nice little finish to the ribbon. Okay, so this is the next card, still using that same stamp set. This one uses a watercolor technique, and the card kit includes the base card, the card base. It includes a white paper to go on the inside, and then I just stamped that with a little bit of the birds. It includes the embossed image. Excuse me. This is this embossing folder is part of the mini catalog as well. Love that embossed folder. Let's see. You also get this image here. this die cut. That is from the Stitched Nested Labels dies. That has a whole bunch of nested dies that have the same shape, which is really great for card fronts as well as stamping your main image. And then I have this image here, which is for this little hello saying down on the bottom. That is part of the Stitched So Sweetly dies that I used before for this die cut. Okay, so this card actually includes some watercoloring. So what I'm going to do is start by stamping my main image. So I'm going to stamp the little girls walking on the seashore. So the cardstock that I'm stamping on is actually the shimmery white cardstock. That is a great cardstock to use if you are watercoloring. It's a little bit thicker, or it has a coating on it, I should say, that the ultra smooth white cardstock does not have. Let's see. The stamp set also includes this like water line. You could also use it as a mountain range. I forgot to put them on a block, so let me get that. Okay, so I'm just going to attach my block, and I am going to use crumb cake to stamp my sand. And I'm trying to get it as close to the little girl's arm as I can, like so. Okay. Now I'm going to use my ink pad as a well for stamping, for doing my watercoloring. So I'm using the Aqua pen. This is a pen that you can refill with water. It just has water here in the chamber. And if you squeeze it, the water comes out on the tip. So I already have some ink here on the lid of my stamp pad. Just going to get some water going on there. Don't want it to be too wet, just enough to get that ink moving. And then I'm just going to do a watercolor wash. And again, if you would do this on regular white cardstock, you would get some pilling happening with your cardstock. But because this has a coating on it, it's not going to do that for you. And I need to grab a tissue. Okay, so you'll notice that this stamp pad has more of a well here for you. This is the older style stamp pad, and I'm going to now use the Balmy Blue, which is one of the newer stamp pads, and that one just lifts up. When you try to squeeze it, it's hard to get some ink on this well. So I just took a couple of drops of the ink and put it in the well. I'm going to clear off my aqua brush and pick up some of that blue. I want it to be fairly light, so I'm going to water it down a little bit more. And then I'm just going to start at the top and kind of let it get lighter as it goes. Again, I'm really using a very light touch on this, just letting the brush do its job. Just lightly moving it back and forth on the paper. I'm not like trying to scrub it into the paper or anything. Just a very light touch. Make sure you get in between. See, I need to go right in between the girls to get the sand in there, so I'll do that later. And then I simply just use the pens to color those little girls in, the dresses just colored in again because I used the Stays On ink pad. You can go right over those black lines and it's going to stay in place. You do want to let the ink dry a little bit before you color over it because it could smudge, but typically it dries pretty quickly and you can color right over it. Okay, so then that goes right on top of the blue embossed paper, and then that gets put on top of the crumb cake base of your card. Now to get the border down below, I've already punched that out for you. That is done with the braided punch, which is also in the mini catalog. So this is what that punch looks like, and I'll show you real quickly how to use it. It does take a little bit of practice, and I'm not sure how it'll work with me in this position because I usually am standing up next to a table instead of a counter height. But what you do is you're going to open up your punch. This is how you lock it. And you're just going to put your paper in. You want to make sure that your paper is nested up right next to this border along the punch. And you're going to punch. It is a difficult punch to punch down on because it has a pretty intricate die on it. It's got a lot going on there. And then when you come over here to do your next punch, you want to make sure that this paper is lined up right next to this guide. That is right in that same guided space. You want to make sure that this paper is next to this guide and punch down. Like so. And then you just keep moving it across, lining up this image with this image down below. There we see it. And the remaining paper is again resting against that guide on the bottom. And I'm going to do one more. Like so. If you get any little bumps like this where it didn't quite match up exactly, you can just take a small little scissor and round those corners up so that you get a nice clean edge. Okay, those are the 3 cards that I had to show you today. I hope you enjoyed this kit. I really like this stamp set, The Beautiful Moments. There is also a stamp set currently in the main catalog that is similar to this set, except it's more masculine. It has the dad and the boy. I think there's also a little girl in there too. So it's really cute, and you can actually use the 2 sets together.